Ah, have any of you guys ever had Purple Thunder? It's a new flavor of Mountain Dew. Well, it's not really new. It's been around for quite a while, but it's exclusive to Circle K. It's grape flavored. It's actually really good. I don't know why I'm talking about beverages on home media reviews now. I've done this for the last week or so here on the show, but I think it's fun. Welcome back to Thomas and Friends Home Media Reviews, everyone. I hope you guys are hyped up and you didn't go back and watch the HMR on Tales from the Tracks, because that would spoil some of my thoughts on this release known as Little Engine's Big Days Out. Let's take a look at the history section for this release. So Little Engine's Big Days Out, which, before we even jump into any history here, you're going to look at a black screen for about 30 seconds. I apologize for that, but what the hell kind of a title is Little Engine's Big Days Out? I mean, Tales from the Tracks, yeah, that's simple, it's snappy, but this one is just weird. Am I the only one that feels this way, or does anybody else share this opinion? I think this title sucks. This came out on the 22nd of May, 2006, over in the UK and Ireland. Maybe I should have saved that little thought there for the review section, but regardless of what I think of this release moving forward, the title of it absolutely stinks. We got one more date here for this release. It was re-released on DVD in 2008 in the UK and Ireland. I don't remember what copy mine is. Could be the 2006 copy, could be the 2008 copy. I'm betting on it being the 2008 copy, but we'll see whenever I edit this video. So this was released individually twice, but boy, was this included in a lot of DVD multi-packs over in the UK and Ireland. The first multi-pack is known as 5 Adventurous DVDs. Really, really nice name there. I assume this was released around the time of 2006 or 2007, because I'm not seeing a date for it here on the wiki. I can tell you what releases were included in it, though. We have All Aboard with the Steam Team, It's Great to Be an Engine, 3 Cheers for Thomas, Tales from the Tracks. Okay, so the UK did get a version of Tales from the Tracks, and Little Engine's Big Days Out. Yeah, I'm not seeing a date for this. Someone can tell me in the comments when this was released. I'm just guessing that it was released around the time of 2006, 2007, because I think that's the 2006 print that's advertised here. The next pack was known as the Ultimate Collection, and this one does have a date. It was released in 2009. This one looks pretty cool. It's got a lot of cool content. This includes 10 DVDs. Wow, that's insane. We have All Aboard with the Steam Team, It's Great to Be an Engine, 3 Cheers for Thomas, Calling All Engines, Tales from the Tracks, Little Engine's Big Days Out, On Track for Adventure, Together on the Tracks, Thomas's Trusty Friends, and Engines and Escapades. Ooh, we have a little trivia section here. It says, this box set was sold exclusively on Bid TV. Its DVDs, however, were released separately sometime later in 2009. So was this like the first way you could pick up some of these releases over in the UK? And what is Bid TV? It sounds like a weird version of eBay. We have one last multi-pack here that was released in 2011, and it is simply known as Official DVD and Book Gift Set. The photo of it here actually doesn't mention Little Engine's Big Days Out I found one. It's got, okay, this was apparently released twice, once in 2011 that included Little Engine's Big Days Out, and then again in 2012, which featured Hero of the Rails. And the book that came in this set is Thomas to the Rescue. It's got like a pull tab on it. You can read words and stuff while you read this book. It's an interesting little thing. The name's a little bit generic. Literally just lists what it is, but hey, it's a cute little thing. I always liked when my DVDs came with extra pack-in stuff, and to get a free book with that sounds like a good deal. But that is the end of the history section, everyone. Let's go ahead and move along to the close-up. Alrighty, everyone. Here's your close-up at Little Engines Big Days Out. Starting off here at the top with a little sun there that says includes 2 DVD games. Oh boy, that's gonna be so fun. Thomas and Friends logo. Little Engines Big Days Out. See, I said that way because the big is huge. It's a decent logo. It's fine, I guess. And a gorgeous shot of Thomas, Percy, Henry, Gordon, James, and Emily down there at Ted Mached's very high-quality poster art, I must say. 6 thrilling stories, along with your ratings down there. This poster's okay. Most of the interesting stuff is towards the bottom, but it's fine. The side, got your hit logo, Thomas Friends logo. Little Engines, Big Days Out. Portrait of Thomas, not taken from the front. Different portrait of Thomas there. Your ratings once again, and your product number. The back. It's a fun day out with Thomas and Friends with over 50 minutes of thrilling stories from famous Sodor sites. Again, they love to advertise the amount of minutes of content that are on these discs. And it's only the UK that does that. And I love this too. You got 6 stories here, but they all have a description of what happens in them. I don't know why I love that so much. It's so cool. And you got 4 screenshots down there of Emily, Rheneas, Henry, and Peter Sam. And you've got some DVD games down there, Arthur's Tricky Travels, and Spot the Difference. Your ratings, barcode with a sticker there from the previous owner of this release. Back looks nice. Open this up. And your disc is a squished up version of the poster art. Now, unlike last week, Dan did not send me this release. I picked this up on my own off of eBay. But that wraps up your close-up. Let's move right along to the menu tour. Alrighty, everyone. Here we are for our menu tour of Little Engines Big Days Out. Unlike last week, our menu is now once again in a glorious 16:9 aspect ratio here. We have a huge circle of track with clips from the episodes playing in the background. And here are our options. We have play all, select a scene, and the release is now playing. That's nice. You guys hate that autoplay feature on a lot of DVDs where it like just jumps right into the release? It doesn't actually let you go through the menu options or anything, because I don't like it at all. We have play all, select a scene, games, and subtitles. Let's go ahead and pick select a scene here. Oh, there's a little clip of Toby playing. That's fun. Select a scene, chapter, songs, learn with Thomas. Ooh, hang on. So you can select stories, but also the songs that come in the middle and the learning segments. Okay, that's cool. That's innovative there. We have Thomas and the Birthday Picnic, Flower Power, Magic Lamp, Keeping Up with James, Tuneful Toots, and Thomas Tries His Best. For songs, we have Every Day's a Special Day on Sodor and Roll Call. And for learning segments, we have What Does Toby See? We have Cool Down Delivery, What Goes Where, and Dot to Dot. Moving along here to the games section, we have Arthur's Tricky Travels and Spot the Difference. I feel like we played Arthur's Tricky Travels back when we covered the US version of this release. I think it was Come Ride the Rails. It was either that or Trouble on the Tracks. I can't remember. No, it wasn't Trouble on the Tracks. It was something else. It was Tales from the Tracks. It wasn't Trouble on the Tracks. It was Tales from the Tracks. Why did it go back to the main menu? Let's go back to games. Hi, Gordon again. I kind of want to play Arthur's Tricky Travels, though. What do you guys think? Ah, screw it, we'll do it. Arthur's Tricky Travels, let's go.
Arthur has a very important job today. He has to pick up special coal for Henry from Brendam Docks. He feels really useful. But what's this? Hay bales are blocking his track. Arthur has to move them out of the way. Which of his friends will help Arthur clear the hay bales? Bertie the bus to take them away? Trevor? Or Harold the helicopter? Click on the one you think would help Arthur best.
Okay, so I hope you guys can hear this audio good, because I'm just doing it through my microphone. I'm not doing it through my actual computer here, but I want to choose like one that's not correct just to see what'll happen. So let's choose Birdie and see what happens.
Do you think Bertie the bus can help? Are you sure? No! Bertie won't help clear the hay bales from the track. They're too big. Try again. Trevor! Well done. That's right. Trevor will take the hay bales away. Now, Arthur can go on to the docks. But now there's a big boulder blocking his track. Arthur needs help. Which of these three will help him best? Cable drums, some pots of jam, or Harold? Do you think the cable drums can help? Are you sure? No! Cable won't clear the boulder. It will just tie it up. Try again. Do you think the pots of jam can help? No, pots of jam won't clear the boulder. They'll just make it sticky. Try again.
Yeah, but if it's sticky, then he can pull it away because it'll be stuck to his buffers. It's a stupid justification, but it's obviously Harold.
Harold. That's right. Harold is strong enough to airlift the boulder off the track. Well done. Now Arthur can finish his important job at the docks. Would like to thank you for helping him. Click on the reward box, please, to see what it is.
Ooh, now we get to paint Arthur? Well, isn't that just handy? I really like that game because they shot new model footage for it, and I think they did the same thing with Spot the Difference. We'll check that out here in a minute, but it's so unique that they actually shot footage with the Arthur model and Trevor and Harold and everything. You just don't see that kind of dedication with Thomas nowadays. They wouldn't render new CGI footage for a DVD game.
It's a busy day at Maithwaite Station. Thomas has just arrived. But look carefully. There are 3 differences between each of these pictures. Can you spot what is not the same about the 2 pictures? Look carefully and click on what you spot is different.
Okay, this one's actually a kind of difficult, but not really though. I mean, Gordon and Percy.
That's right. Gordon is waiting in the top picture and Percy is waiting in the bottom. Look carefully and click on what you see. There are white platform benches in the top picture. And in the bottom picture, there are no benches at all. Well done. There's a sign saying Mayth.
Okay, the reason I said that was difficult was because I didn't notice that the platforms weren't, or the platform benches weren't in the bottom picture until later. So I was like, oh, that's kind of odd. Like Maithwaite and Gordon I got immediately, but those I had to look for just a little longer to see there. Ooh, we get to click on this and see what our reward is.
Percy is waiting for Thomas at the stone quarry. Thomas has a special job. He has to pick up the Fat Controller. Thomas has arrived covered in quarry dust. "You're so dirty," peeps Percy. He's worried. "I might be dirty, but I can still be really useful. And as soon as I'm clean, I'll look as grand as any engine," toots Thomas.
So that was the reward. Was another little thing there. Like I said about these DVD games, they're so unique because they shot new model footage for these things. I wish they were longer though. Like Arthur's Tricky Travels, we only got to do 2 different things, and Spot the Difference was even less. Let's take a look at the subtitles now before we call it a day. There's James. Hi, bud. How you doing? Subtitles, we can turn them on or turn them off. Doesn't tell us what languages we have. We can just turn them on and off. Okay. Well, folks, that wraps up your menu tour. Let's go ahead and head on back and answer the 5 main questions as always. Alright, so we're back from the close-up. Now it's time to answer the 5 main questions as always. Number 1, where can you pick this product up? Do I even need to say online retailers? I got mine off of eBay. Highly used, as you saw in the close-up there. It'll be fine on the shelf. Number 2, is this product still being printed nowadays? Nah, not even close. Number 3, should you pick this product up? Alright, so I've mentioned this a few times. This is the United Kingdom's version of Tales from the Tracks. And I don't remember what my opinions were on Tales from the Tracks. I probably wasn't very positive. I went into this wanting to like it more because there are some significant changes here. For one, brand new narrator and everything. Even the bonus features are narrated by Michael Angelis, which we'll talk about later, but he does a pretty good job there. I cannot stress, though, how cool it is for me as a fan who lives in the United States and was cursed with 4x3 Thomas for so many years, way longer than it needed to be in 4x3. It is so cool to see these episodes in widescreen, the way that they were meant to be experienced. It was almost like watching these for the first time. Maybe I'm alone in that, but I, for one, like my widescreen televisions to be fully filled with images. And 4x3 Thomas, it pales in comparison to full widescreen presentation Thomas. Thomas and the Birthday Picnic gave me an interesting thought. Thomas's behavior in that episode reminds me of when you're meeting with your super judgmental in-laws and try your best to impress them, but no matter what you do, you'll never be good enough in their eyes. This isn't a comment on like Hope's family or anything. They all love me. This is just something that like I've noticed in like sitcoms over the past few years. Like the in-laws are never the good guys. And I don't know, Thomas's behavior in that episode just made me think of that. Like he literally cannot do anything right to make Dowager Hat happy. Still on Thomas and the Birthday Picnic here, but how did Sir Topham Hatt not know that that castle was closed? That just stuck out like a sore thumb there. He's literally the controller of the railway. You'd think he'd know when one of his biggest tourist attractions is shut down for maintenance or repairs or whatever bullshit excuse they used for that. Moving on, Flower Power is a fun episode. I find that one to be not terrible. It's nothing compared to the spooky episodes of Season 5. Obviously, those are top-tier Thomas content, but a kid might get a little freaked out by some of the images here. Some of the noises, I think, are a little unsettling. And those fog effects, they still look pretty good. But man, I do not like Michael Angelis' take on Diesel. I've tried to like it multiple times. I don't like it. He sounds too snivelly. He's supposed to be this almost charm filled engine. The other characters just naturally gravitate towards him. And Michelangelo's take kind of sounds like a worm tongue from Lord of the Rings or something. Look out, sir, it's the ghost engine, and he's come to get me. Out of the two narrators here for Flower Power, I prefer Michael Brandon's narration, at least for Diesel's voice. I think his kind of naturally gruff-sounding voice, while it could be a bit over the top at times, at least brought a sense of grit to Diesel's character. Plus his line reading of, "It's a ghost engine, and he's come to get me." I've always found that incredibly hilarious. I don't know why. Angelus does redeem himself, though, because Harold the Helicopter makes a cameo appearance in The Magic Lamp, and I really like his voice for Harold. It's kind of like he's pinching up on his nose or something, kind of like this. "Of course, Peter Sam, I'll help you find the magic lamp." It's kind of like how I've always pictured Harold sounding, kind of snooty, but also willing to have a conversation with those he thinks that are below him. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the Harold voice that George Conlon does for him. But I don't know, Angelus's voice was pretty good too. Mind how you go, Percy. Bad weather's new. I'm on high alert. There are a lot of impressions in this episode of HMR. I'm having fun. Moving on to Keeping Up with James, and this is a note that I think a lot of people will agree with, but I really hate this era's treatment of Edward. This whole Edward debate has been talked to death, but I do need to express my opinions here. Keeping Up with James might be one of the worst episodes ever in terms of portraying Edward. Everyone likes to talk about how Edward Strikes Out is the worst. This one, I would argue, is up there. Yes, he's old, but he's not weak. He's never just this shriveling blob of a character. Yeah, he's supposed to be humble, but he doesn't take shit from anyone, at least not in the classic series. Seeing Edward not fight back and stand up for himself and tear James a new one while James is basically bullying him, it kind of pissed me off while I was watching it. The writers clearly did not know how to use Edward efficiently, because if this was the classic series, I mean, Edward would be showing James up throughout this entire thing. He wouldn't be just, "James, slow down, you're going to crash." It made me so angry. Maybe one of the worst episodes for Edward's character. I hate what they did to him here. They totally butchered him. Last two episodes on this release, Tuneful Toots and Thomas Tries His Best, they're fine. I didn't really have any notes for them. They're totally serviceable, I guess. They're not anything special. They didn't offend me in any way. They're just there. They were on the release, and I watched them, and I don't have any thoughts. The thing that I really found interesting about this was in the menu. Because when you go to the story stops, it's actually not labeled story stops. I think it's labeled like segments or something. And you can select the learning segments from that separate menu. You can't do that on US releases, at least not any that I can think of off the top of my head. That was something that was really unique for me. I was like, wow, you can select the learning segments here. Are the learning segments in this release particularly good? No. Should you ever, watch them separate from watching the release in full? No, not particularly, but it is cool that you can select them from the story stop/segment menu. Also, the two games on here are really fun. Arthur's Tricky Travels and Spot the Difference. Those are cool. I think I mentioned this already, but the fact that they shot new model footage just for those games is so impressive to me. Their one flaw, though, they're both too short. Arthur's Tricky Travels, you go through 2 scenarios and then it's over. Spot the Difference, I think it's only 1 scenario. Those games needed to be longer. Little Engine's Big Days Out isn't worse than its US counterpart, but it sure ain't much better. There are a few unique aspects to it. I liked some of the narration. I didn't like some of the narration as well. I like the games. I like that they're still here. They're painfully short. I like that you can select the learning segments. And there are a couple episodes on here I didn't want to kill myself while I was watching. Keeping Up with James was not one of them. However, a couple unique aspects to a release, and maybe one or two stories that were at best okay, isn't enough to squeak this over the line. I'm sorry, Little Engines Big Days Out, but this is the first official not recommend of this new revival season, Thomas and Friends Home Media Reviews. Everyone give a round of applause for Little Engines Big Days Out. It was the first not recommend here. Everyone applaud. Yes. Good job. You did it. I went in with an open mind. I wanted to like it, and I just didn't. Number 4, where should you pick this product up? Same answers as number 1. And number 5, what price should you pay? I'd say no more than $5 for this. I think I got mine for like $6, not including shipping. So I probably paid about 10 for it, but I wouldn't pay more than 5. You know, sometimes you can find these in like local stores and stuff, like local used DVD and Blu-ray stores. I found some foreign copies of films at my local half-price books. Maybe once in a blue moon you'll find that at your local half-price books. I don't know. I don't know where you live. Well, another episode of Thomas and Friends Home Media Reviews is in the bag. It's a little sad that we had to give a not recommend to this release, but I can't let subpar content squeak by. I'm not going to give it a pass just because I liked a few things about it. It's got to be the majority of the release. I was lenient with First Class Stories and The Best of Thomas. They eked over that line. Little Engines Big Days Out just couldn't reach it. And do I even have to mention again, that title is horrendous. It's too long. It's got too many words in it. It just, wow. There's no flow, no rhythm, just ooh, I'm looking at my schedule here, and folks, next week is the big one. The big episode for this revival season of Thomas and Friends Home Media Reviews. Hoo boy! Next week, we're not just talking about a release. We're talking about an entire season. Unlike this release, Dan sent me the season that we're going to be talking about next week. And you guys know how much I love my Thomas and Friends in widescreen, so why not go back and take a look at the first season of Thomas that was ever filmed in widescreen. The season that everyone says isn't better than season 7. The season that most people say is one of the worst of the classic series. Do I agree with that? Well, I'm going to spoil it. No, I don't agree with that at all. At least at the time of recording this. We're taking a look at the complete Season 6 next week, ladies and gentlemen. Or complete Series 6, as our brethren in the United Kingdom call it. I hope you're all excited for that. I'm excited to sit down and watch 2.5 hours of widescreen Thomas content. It's going to be a blast. Thank you all so very much for watching this episode of Thomas and Friends Home Media Reviews. I will see you all next week. Good night, everybody.